455 days of the hunger strike. That's where I am right now, laying in this bed. To save your beautiful life, as you know. If you've been following along, thank you. I know a few of you are. I really appreciate you and the tens of thousands of likes on the TikToks and trying to overcome the shadow banning. And if you're new, welcome to what could be the best day of your life, because there's a group of people that care about you and are willing to make wise sacrifices to prove it, thick and thin. And believe me, it's going to get very thick here very soon because of this mega crisis that we're in. And those that have been following me for the last 2 years and the last 30 hunger strikes in a row know that I keep repeating the same thing because the message is the essence. It's the same because it's the root solution. And it's called universal logic. But the problem is 6 existential threats, and you're probably feeling them in your life now. I was just at the hospital to try and get them to supervise my hunger strike so that I knew what my blood levels are, so I can keep informing people, so they can help achieve the goals of the hunger strike. And the 6 existential threats are, my mouth is dry. It's been 13 days no food on this hunger strike alone. But the first one is global cultural decline, AI, CRISPR, World War III, climate change, and mental health. So I was in the hospital, and when I usually tell people, they usually ask me, why are you on a hunger strike? And 2 years ago when I started, I said, we're in a mega crisis. And I would say the world's ending. And they would laugh at me or smirk or in some kind of way not take it seriously. For the first time since I've been to the same hospital, I've been there roughly probably 20, 30 times for each hunger strike, the really severe ones. Like I was just on a 65-day hunger strike before this. If you go watch the videos, it was really intense, and that's why I'm feeling this one a lot. My blood is already bad, you guys. I went to the hospital and they checked it. It's not critical yet though, but I don't have deep stores anymore. But when I was at the hospital, something happened that's new. Every single person I talked to who asked me that question, from the ambulance attendant to the nurses, doctors, and the people in the waiting room of the emergency ward where I had to stay for 19 hours. That's hard. All of them said the same thing. You're right. The world is going in a disastrous direction. That's the first time every single person responded in agreement. The ambulance attendant was a woman. And she told me she had a daughter, but she stopped having kids because she realized how bad the mega crisis really is. It's real. We don't have a lot of time. Every hour that goes by now is a serious risk to our entire species. Not just you and me, but everybody we know and love. Everyone. No one can outrun this. So in a way, that's good news and bad news, right? The good news is that people are waking up and they're no longer ignorant, and they're no longer arrogant. So they're actually listening to my solutions more. And I spoke with the clinical ethicist for 2 hours when I was there. There's at the University of Alberta Hospital, right 100 meters away, 200 meters away, is a big research building where the medical faculty of the university itself is. The hospital is right on the campus, and it's a research university, meaning that all these students and all these world-class research cutting-edge programs in medical ethics are happening. And they have a whole health ethics center right next door called the Dossiter Health Ethics Center. My tongue is swollen. Wow. I'm having a hard time talking either. This hunger strike is hitting me a lot faster than normal. That's why I'm starting to get things going, and you can help. I'm going to tell you how you can help with this game called Words of Wisdom that we just finished building. But I want to tell you that things are shifting, and we have to be ready to take all this despair. Because when these people agreed with me in the hospital, the ambulance attendant, all them, I said to them, okay, well, you agree with me that there's a mega crisis. What are you doing about it? And you know what they said? Oh, I can't even watch the news. I turn off the news. I just can't do anything. That's not true. You can do something. And then I teach them about universal logic, and I teach them about hope and fair world spirit, which you can be a part of right now. Okay? And it's an anti-cult initiative. We teach you anti-cult training. And the way that we do that is through this game called Words of Wisdom. It's called WOW. And it's like, wow, it's mind-blowing. Universal logic will cause a paradigm shift in you. It'll cause you to realize that the way that you're filtering reality, that we learned from the broken society that we're in, the culture that we're in, is actually a cult. It's a death cult, actually, because we're all dying in it. Loneliness is at all-time highs. Climate collapse. You've hit 7 of 9 planetary boundaries, as you guys have heard me say many times. We're on the verge of World War III with China and the United States and 61 other world wars. And this is going to happen in 2027 between China and the United States. AI is taking not just all the jobs, it's literally taking our lives if you look at the lab results. And CRISPR genetic editing was just supercharged because Claude, one of the top AIs, got into the protein folding space and had miraculously good results for a first try. And what the lab results are showing is that as soon as it escapes, it builds bioweapons to get rid of us. So this is the first step in that direction. It's all happening, you guys. Pay attention. Don't just despair. Don't just sit at home. If you want to do something, no matter how weird this looks, this is better than sitting at home doing nothing and waiting to die or suffer or be enslaved. Okay, that's what's being shown to us. This is a very simple game. Words of Wisdom is a simple way to get your toes wet, ask some questions, and realize that there might be a paradigm shift waiting for you, a better way of making sense of reality. It's not indoctrination, because you have to actually understand it. The way I built the game is so that you can't just randomly rote memorize and position the words and game the system. It's built so that you have to actually understand and question and have critical thinking. Okay? Critical thinking is essential for reason, which makes you unmanipulatable. It makes you influenceable, but not manipulatable, because you're grounded in yourself and you know how to recognize when somebody's not arguing with you or engaging with you authentically or truly. All right. So what is the Words of Wisdom? Wow. It's a software program that you can access. And if you want to join in and help, there's a bunch of points that you can earn. They're blessings per word. You learn it word by word. We simplified it so that even children could learn it. And you can come in and play it, and then that counts towards my meal. We need 5,435 of these points, or these blessings, these wisdom points, you could say, wisdom worth. So when you do this, right now the top score is 91 for one person. So if we had 33 people do that, it increases the depth of the movement. The previous blessings, if you look at my other videos, it was training people with these meeting checklists on how to be good facilitators, because the words that we have in our minds are actually filled with stories from our childhoods, and some of them are fragmented and explosive. We call them nuclear dialectics. So you'll be having a conversation in this game, and you'll come across a word that we ask you to place in a special way. And then you're going to talk with other people, and they'll have different positions, and it might trigger that fragment, that fracturing, that trauma in that word. The story will come out, and it'll, like, a lot of people aren't aware of it, it'll explode. And these facilitators that we train in these flow roles help channel that energy into a productive direction that's healing, not ignoring it. A lot of people suppress it because they don't know how to handle it. When you suppress that, it builds up and it causes incredible damage to the movement, but also to the person. So if you can't suppress it, you can't let it go wild either, because it'll destroy everything anyway. People lose control of themselves. So we have empathy for them to a degree, right? Wise love, not blind love. And we channel that into wisdom at a rate that makes sense to them. If they have to step back, they don't know what's going on, then we, of course, set boundaries healthily in Fair World Spirit. That's one thing that we teach right away as part of anti-cult training. You have to learn to set boundaries as learning spaces so that you can protect yourself while learning what the dialectic is. What's the thing that you're being shown? And then when you feel safe, you can come back and return in the vow of unabandonment to the other person or other thing. Okay. So I'll send you the link if you'd like. And if you can beat the top score, then it measures how much wisdom that you have right now, how fragmented your mind is. Because the heart of the Megacrisis is what? If you're experienced, you've been with me for months or years, you should know what this is, because I repeat it almost every video. The heart of the Megacrisis is fragmented consciousness. And we organize ourselves based off of language, and language off of sense data and grammar and then ultimately logic. Okay? But we don't operate by normal logic. We operate by this structure of pure wisdom logic that we call universal logic. The logic of love, the logic of truth, the logic of goodness. We know how to define that now in this movement, and we need people to listen and learn at the grassroots level and also at the elite level. Everybody belongs here because everybody is sacred, and we protect you in a new form of justice, not just charity. I get passionate. See, I was really lethargic before because this person who was supposed to help me get to the courthouse, have to go to the courthouse, just bailed on me. And I want to make a comment about why it's damaging the way they did it, but my legs are cramping and twitching, which has not happened like this before. So when I walk, I don't have any money for a cab. I don't have anything. I'm running low, you guys. We ran out of money to code the game too. Words of Wisdom is functional, but it can get a lot better. But I ran out of funds. I ran out of AI credits. So if you want to help with that, there's a GoFundMe on my TikTok page, I think. Or just ask me in the DMs and I'll send it to you. But I want to be eating here in the next week or two because the cramping is a bad sign of electrolyte imbalances. Because I have no stores. So anyway, I don't want to go to the courthouse. But this person who was, I don't know them very well, but they're an activist person. And they helped me once before, but it's not reliable. So I asked them, but they're resenting something because I've been blocked from this climate group that donated like $800 to my birthday fundraiser thing to get climate action taken. And then all of a sudden just ghosted me because they were in some ways insulting me while trying to do what I'm asking them, which is a blessing. So it's a blessing and an insult at the same time. And I like wise love. I'm not about blind love. Because when you bring out the truth, it'll be explosive. But if you channel it healthily, it prevents cultural gossip that undermines and destroys a movement. So their culture is more brittle. This guy who's building it is quite incredible. He's an Ivy League, he's up there with the Harvards and the Stanfords and all of that. But he doesn't know how to culture build. He's not an experienced activist. So he's building something very brittle that looks strong because everybody's positive and everything, but underneath it, when I was there, total backbiting, tons of animosity. And it always happens because human beings go through 3 moments of logic and everybody tries to naively ignore the second moment, which is the moment of storming or tension or getting to know the fragments between each other. And when you ignore them, ironically, they get worse. So I've led lots of organizations, or one organization, Make Poverty History, for years, and we recruited all types of people from around the world, and it happened every year. And I couldn't figure out what is going on in the fabric of reality that's causing this, and it's universal logic. That we're engaging universal logic in our dead logic. We're breaking it instead of embracing the authentic living version of it. And we're returning that now. So I tried to do that in their organization. They freaked out on me. They said, he's being negative. He doesn't appreciate that we're making blessings for him. And, we're taking our time out. I'm starving to death, right? I'm like 60 days, no food. So it's not even proportional to the level of sacrifice. They're taking literally 30 seconds to make some blessings. Well, I went I think 2 months is 1,550 hours of no food straight. I have nerve damage in this hand. Even today, you guys know that, who's been with me. I can't feel my pinky properly. So I might have permanent nerve damage if we don't get these blessings done soon. I'm willing to do that for people and not complain a lot. I'm going to complain a little bit because I'm human. I have a human side anyway, and there's a divine side. But they sort of insulted me because they didn't take any time to listen to the instructions, and they did the absolutely most minimal thing with virtually no effort. It was all PR, public relations, basically. And I'm sick of that. This sick, toxic social media external culture that we're in that's hollowing us out, where there's ADHD and attention spans are nowhere near what they need to be because corporations have hijacked our nervous systems. Our literal nervous systems are being hijacked. I literally close my eyes when I open up TikTok or YouTube or Facebook because the AIs are optimizing your micro gestures so they know exactly what to show you. So when I open, I put my hand where the button is to get off the screen, and then it opens, I press it, and then I open my eyes and I'm off of it. So be careful. It's starting to get extreme. And soon it might start manipulating you. Like there's a family member in danger, like it'll show it on then you have to act, or else you're having a moral wound. So it's gonna get bizarre. Be aware. Time's of the essence, you guys. Help me. Play the WoW game. Help overcome the shadow ban on this channel, and talk to 6 people in your flock that you trust, and try and get them to learn this core that we have that bridges into universal logic through that WoW game. We've really simplified it without losing the essence. Okay, so I'm getting nervous that this recording is going to die on me here because my phone is full from so much happening. But this person helped me with this birthday. They made blessings on the birthday. They didn't put a lot of effort in. They did them wrong. In fact, they did them the opposite way, which reinforces what I don't want. So I tried to bring that up to them very politely. While I'm at this birthday, having a whole bunch of people that came amazingly, and I feel blessed for that. I really, really appreciate it. I'm grateful for that. But when I tried to address this toxic culture, it did explode on me. And when it explodes, people just abandon. They don't set boundaries, they abandon. And they abandoned me. And I went 65 days with no food, and not a single one contacted me. That's called resentment. And resentment is what I try to teach not to give into. You have to hold the seed of compassion even when you feel like you're being wronged. I feel like I'm being wronged right now by people not paying attention to the hunger strike, making a big sacrifice. But they're distracted. They don't know what they're doing. When you hold on to resentment, it's like taking poison, hoping the other person will die. Okay? It's like that. So that's why I don't want to be resentful to them. I want to point out there's a cultural problem here we need to address. And it just occurred again here that I asked this person for a ride to the courthouse. My beard is all over. I'm also getting a little bit lethargic and lazy. I should probably wipe that. Anyway, I like being clean. So you're seeing me in a state where I'm not in my optimal state. Anyway, hygiene aside. They made up a whole bunch of excuses why they couldn't pick me up. Even though they're coming here because they left a banner here. They left this banner right there. See that banner? That banner was not mine. It was left at my place for months, since the birthday. So they have to pass through downtown to go back home. So it's very convenient for this person to come. That's why I thought, maybe I'll ask them. But then a whole bunch of excuses, but the excuses are only half real. There's ways to make it work. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? It's really animosity. It's resentment. And I'm trying to bring the conversation up and saying, hey, look, you were at the birthday, you helped make some blessings, and then you just disappeared for 2 months. Didn't even touch base at all. Even if you're on vacation, even if you're an activist, and you claim to be one, you have pride in that, you still touch base with somebody who's going 65 days. Do you know what I mean? So all these excuses were made up, and then they refused. They shut down the conversation and didn't want to get into the truth. And that's the toxicity. It's the avoidance that perpetuates the wound. And then it festers and festers and festers and festers until it's an explosion. Or they completely abandon you. And our entire global culture is like that, which is why we're in World War III. So to solve that, we have to get over fragmented consciousness. Because that person feels fragmented for me. They don't understand my reason why I confronted them. And they're thinking, he's a bad guy. Blah, blah, blah. Their brain is filling in a bunch of stories with the words that we're using. Whereas my intention is different. It's deeper to say, no, we have to have this conversation now. And they won't do it. So that's where I'm saying God's not pointing me in that direction right now. They'll come in later. I'm not abandoning them, but they're setting a boundary, but in a toxic way. And so I'm bringing my attention to a different place, which is you guys, and saying, if you see me challenge you, you can challenge me. I get challenged every day. You'll learn real leadership, where the first leadership trait is emotional resilience, and then the second one is adaptability. And that requires wisdom to know which is which, and that's what the words of wisdom teaches you. Okay, so we're building a realistic culture that can scale globally and handle the conflicts without falling apart. It has what I call real critical mass potential that prevents critical mass radiation, this social gossip that radiates out goodwill and hollows out a movement, and then it collapses. Okay? We have to get in touch with the nature of reality, though, which is why it's really incredible. And it doesn't matter whether you're an artist, religious, philosopher, scientist, or atheist, or somebody who understands genuine wisdom. Everybody belongs in this movement now, and you're invited. So stay blessed. If you want to beat the all-time record, and wow, it's 91 points right now. You can get, I think right now you can get 500, and then with this deeper reasoning, you can get up to 1,300 for one person. Because we're not just doing breadth anymore with those checklists and facilitation, but we're doing depth. So one person that understands universal logic is worth like 100 people's worth of fragmented consciousness that's causing the compounding problem. So now we have two ways to make these blessings, breadth and depth. And together, if I can get some donations to do the coding, then I can bring them together, and then we can have these supercharged meetings. But for now, we're testing this one piece, and I would be blessed if you helped. And if you're atheistic and you don't like blessings, I would feel honored if you helped. Okay? So please be authentic with yourself, but be lovingly authentic. Be as kind as you can, even in the frustration. Draw a healthy boundary. Don't abandon. Create space. Learn. Reflect. See the stories in your words. Know who you are. Know thyself. And then return to that person as if they're good. Separate the behavior from the identity, and then love them in wise love. And if you can do that, then you're part of the peaceful revolution. Okay. See you next time. Keep sublating. I'm going to try and make these videos every day. Okay. Peace.